We're going to talk about how to reset your budget in just 2 days. But before we do that, we have to talk about how these videos are going to work. I'm building my personal finance community in public. It's called Dollar Discipline University. So how these videos work is first we're going to be going through the YouTube comments for a little Q&A, okay? So I want to give you guys immediate value as soon as possible. So make sure to hit that up. We're going to do that quickly. And then we're going to obviously talk about how to reset your budget in 2 days. Other exciting things in the community, like the weekly challenge for new and existing members, which does tie into this. And these are thoughts that I have, to help reach your financial goals faster. Every single day, I'm thinking about what can I do to get people quicker wins inside the community and just on YouTube. Okay, so obviously, like all this information is free, and this thing that we're going to be talking about is free as well. And I just really want to be able to give back to everyone on YouTube and also in my personal finance community. And then maybe at the end we'll talk about some stuff that's been going on inside the community. But with that said, let's just go right into the YouTube comments for some Q&A, and womp womp, there are none. No comments found. I got this little purple guy trolling me here. So this is the section of the video that I want to do a little Q&A with you guys, personal finance stuff. So if you have questions on budgeting or saving money or paying off debt or mindset or strategy or anything like that. I've been an accountant for over a decade, and now I'm helping individuals just like yourself improve their personal finances through simple frameworks and methodologies and things that I've done personally to pay off $43,000 of debt in just over a year. Okay, so if you're watching this, make sure to get in there. You can comment on any YouTube or have a question or whatever, and we will make that happen in the next video. So how to reset your budget in 2 days. Now, this really could be shorter, but what I'm planning here inside the community is every single week for new members, what I want to do, and I haven't even announced this in my community yet, which is very cool as of the time of this recording, which I'm going to be doing that either after this or tomorrow morning. Basically, what I want to do is every time, because like I have people that come in every single week to the community, and I just feel like there's not enough like pizzazz to be able to keep the people in there and keeping people engaged. So I'm trying to just create like a sort of a group challenge where I'm going to be going through what I'm going to be talking about today in this video a little later on, and it's going to be sort of a 2-day event. That's why it's how to reset your budget in 2 days. Some people have done this in like hours, but I'm just saying 2 days because I'm going to have a call on one day and then the next day, or maybe the day after, to give people a little break. I know everyone's very busy. So I want to give enough time for people to do like their quote homework, right? But yeah, so that's kind of the plan. We're going to go through that now. And I'm actually pretty excited about it. So how this is going to work is essentially this process called the 3-month look back. And what this process does, as you can imagine, is we want to look back 3 months of our expenses to see where we've been spending our money. So we want to turn what we have been doing into what we want to be doing, which in most people's cases is saving money or paying down debt or another financial goal. So let me know if that's you watching this video right now. And the challenge is trying to understand how to get there. Right? It's so much easier said than done. Like, oh, just like stop doing what you're doing or switch around your budget or, do the thing. But I've talked to so many people individually about their personal finances. And the challenge is just like, yeah, the month goes along, right? Stuff happens. Life's hard and schedules change or whatever. Work stuff happens. Family stuff happens. There's a lot going on. And then you get to the end of the month and you're like, oh my God, wait, I don't have any money left to do that personal finance thing, the, money towards a goal thing that I wanted to do. And it's like, okay, no, I promise, like next month. And then the next month happens and the same thing happens. It's like, okay, no, I'm going to be more intentional, more thoughtful. Like we're going to make this happen. Then boom, an unexpected expense happens. And it's like, oh God, here we go again. You get to the end of the month and it's like, oh man. And you keep going through this vicious cycle. And I was there too. This was something that happened to me back when I really started my personal finance journey, maybe 10 years ago. It was just this, like, first I didn't have any goals or any thoughts or any ambitions with my finances for whatever reason, which is weird because I went to school for accounting. So I just had a very lazy early 20s, to be quite honest with you. very lazy. Looking back, it's very frustrating, especially how I know that like how time and skills compound. It's just very frustrating that I did that, but it is what it is. We're here now, and we're trying to we're trying to catch up a little bit, right? So yeah, it went from having no goals or whatever to like, what can I do here to make this happen? And it took a lot of trials and tribulations to figure out a process that worked, and that's why I'm sharing it with whoever wants it. That's why I'm making these YouTube videos on it, because it's helped me and my wife, and it's something that I'm still doing to this day. Now, I don't want to be seen as like some guru person, because I hate that and whatever, because I'm literally my wife and I have been doing this a few times over the last like 6, 9, 12 months, to really like you can keep doing this process of like, hey, what have we been doing? What do we want to do with our money, right? Because like everyone else, like we've had life changes and stuff like that, and expenses have gone up and down or whatever. So it's just we have to keep realigning. So I am literally doing this process as well. So this is not me just saying to do something that I would never be willing to do. But I do have an example here. Let's kind of go through it. So, like I mentioned, so you go back 3 months. We have a chart here with the last 3 months in the calendar. And I like to specifically think about variable expenses when I do this. When I do this exercise. Now, you can absolutely include everything on here. It doesn't really matter. But the reason why variable expenses, I think, is the better option is because we know what our fixed expenses are, right? We know what our rent or mortgage is. We know what our subscriptions are that, just happen every month. Like we have childcare, so we know what that cost is every month that is fixed. So it's stuff like that. The variable expenses, the things that we buy every single month, so think groceries, gas, utilities, etc. We need them, but they fluctuate every month. And it just gives us insight into, okay, what have we been doing with our money? So what we do is we go through each month and we see we look at all the stuff that we spent money on. So credit card statements, bank statements. If you do cash, it's a little harder to kind of go back and do this process, but do the best that you can. And what we want to do is just basically categorize everything into different buckets. So yeah, every time you've made a grocery expense, like, okay, yep, we add a grocery expense into May, June, July, right, etc. And then you go through all of these and you do it through for each category. Then what we want to do is we look at our average, and we kind of see like, okay, does this make sense with what we were thinking? It's just like a higher level, like, does anything stand out to us? Okay, because a lot of times there are 1, 2, 3 categories where someone's like, we're spending a lot of money in this category and we had no idea, right? It's very, very possible. It happens all the time. So what we want to do, we want to look at this. And then we also want to start thinking about something called the North Star goals. So the North Star goals are things in our life that we say matter to us the most. Things like life stuff, finance stuff. It doesn't really matter. It could be something that's happening right now that you want, that maybe think of it as like a non-negotiable. It's like, nope, I am not. I'm going to continue doing this. Or it's something down the line where it's like, hey, I would really like to reach, XYZ goal, whatever. And you just make a list of all these things. And then what we want to do is align the spending, the average, with those goals. So it's like, okay, so did our previous spending match with what we are telling ourselves matters the most? That's the key here. That's how we do that quick transformation. Because it's very simple. Once we write a list of 2, 5, 10 things, so if we have our North Star goals here for a second, North Star goals, great. And then, oops. Oh, okay. Hold on. There we go. We have North Star goals. And then, you used to start writing like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however many things are on your list. We write these out. Okay, yep, awesome. So whatever's not on our list, so AKA like anything not on our list, Um, we are telling ourselves we don't care, parentheses, that much about it, right? Because um, if it's not on this list, then we're giving ourselves permission to maybe that's an area where we can look to kind of trim. Because at the end of the day, guys, and I think this is hard to hear, but at the end of the day, like, life is all about making trades. So um, we can't have everything. It's very unfortunate. I would love to have everything, but we do have to sacrifice things because we only have a certain amount of time every single day, right? We all get the same amount of time. We all have resources. We all have different resources, maybe, but we all have resources, and we all have skills. Every one of us has a skill. Every one of us has effort that we put into things, right? So whatever these things are that we're putting these time, money, effort, sacrifices into, those are the things that we're actually, prioritizing, even if we say that we're prioritizing other things. So back in the day, my wife and I, we would love to binge watch before we had kids, before we had, like, again, the sort of lazy early to mid 20s for me, right? We would just kind of binge watch shows on Netflix or Amazon Prime, or, I mean, I think we had like regular cable back then. Whatever we could find, we were just watching it. And we would watch that stuff for like 2+ hours a night sometimes. And if we were to look at, like, if we were to time audit our life, we would see that, I don't know, what is that? One, so two, 1/12. So 8% of our life was just consuming a television show, which sounds really intense. 8%. Basically, 1 out of 10 hours is, yeah, you guys get it. But, like, so that's the kind of thing. So then when you really look at that, it's like, wow, okay, are watching shows like the most important thing for me, or is one of the most important things? Like, absolutely not. Right? So we have to kind of weigh it like that and think about it like that, because what we say is important and what we do are very different. So we really have to be conscious of that. So once we have the North Star goals, we are like, okay, these other things that we didn't put on here don't matter to us. And I do recommend, it doesn't matter how many things are on here, but I do recommend it kind of making some tough decisions. Like, I don't want you to have 50 things on here and then you go back to your 3-month look back process and, like, oh wow, I can't cut anywhere because all these things are expensive. Like, it's really important for me to shop on Amazon and get food delivery and buy all these gifts for people. Like, those are very important. But because if we're trying to make a step forward in our finances, like, something has to go. Like, we can't take a step forward without taking a step back in something else. Does that make sense? So, like, we can't keep stepping forward if we're always doing the same thing or buying the same thing or using the same time and resources on the same thing. So we have to gain in one area, we have to cut back in another. And again, it's tough to hear, right? But after we've done all that sort of thought exercise, we create a new budget amount for all these items. So now it's like, okay, so yeah, we looked at this, and the dining out food delivery, for example, that's pretty tough. We were spending way more than we thought. So I think in the next month, it's reasonable that we just try to cut it down $100. Okay, so from $257 to $150, and then you're thinking, like, okay, well, if I have less meals, delivered to my front door, I probably need to have more meals in my refrigerator, freezer, whatever. So my grocery bills are probably going to go up. It's like, okay, that makes sense too. So now our new budget amount for groceries would be higher. But I also want you to think about it the other way. Like, what if on your list here, your number 2 thing was fitness or something along the lines of fitness, right? And then you look at this and you're like, wow, we're only spending $60 a month on our health and fitness, and it's our number 2 North Star goal. Like, we have to beef this up. So it's like, okay, could we spend $100 on our health and fitness? Like, okay, let's try that next month, right? So that is higher than the average, but again, it's aligning to the North Star goal. So it's fine if we're paying more for it. I think a lot of people think that budgeting is this process of, like, restrictionary and cutting and cutting and cutting, and it's just not true. It's just not true. It's a allocation of resources, right? Because each one of us have the resources that we have. So we have to use them to our advantage to be able to try to take step forwards in other parts of our life, right? We don't want to just, I mean, maybe some people do, but if you're watching this video still 15 minutes in, I know you are not one of these people, but we don't want to just wake up every day, live the same life every day, and then, decades later regret it, right? So, because I know, I regret periods of my life where I wish I had done more in life, but that, it is what it is, right? We are here now, and that's all we can do. So, once we have the new budget amount for all these items, we are going to look at this column here. It's monthly savings, and all these tools are inside the Dollar Discipline University. The link is down in the description of this video. And it's going to show us, okay, anything in red, it means the new budget amount is higher than the average, which again is not bad, right? It's not a bad thing. We just need to make sure that we have more green than red, right? So we go through and you can see all the changes that happened here. And then at the bottom, it's going to give us a total monthly savings of the average, total monthly savings, potential monthly savings after going through this process. So you can see here, $142 is what we potentially would save. And that's great. Now, the whole point is taking action on this $142 and trying to make something out of it. So how do we do this? Well, we go to our budget, okay? And I was playing around with this before, so just give me a moment here. Let me clean this up for you guys. What you'll see is, let me just delete some of this. Okay, so what you'll see is the variable expense new budget amount rolls into this August monthly budget file. It's basically setting up our budget for the next month. Okay, so what I want you to do is put in your estimated income. So let's see. I don't want to really redo all this and waste everyone's time. So let's just go back. So let's add our expected income. So let's say your household income is going to be $6,000, okay? And we know that our variable expenses are going to be here. We have our fixed expenses, right? And then let's say, for example, we don't know our financial goals or our debt yet. So as you can see, we set up a pretty good budget here. Again, you would go through this and enter all this information in the budget column. I just didn't want to waste everyone's time typing all this stuff out. And you can see what it's doing up here is remaining to budget is calculating the total expected income, so $6,000, minus all of these budget columns here. So $3,300, $1,700, right? 0. Stuff will be added there in a moment. So now it's like, okay, we still have $1,000 to budget. And what I would recommend is budgeting your financial goals in. And obviously I made up these numbers. I'm not expecting you to have $1,000 to put towards your financial goals, but just kind of roll with me, okay? So what I would at the very least do is budget for your minimum debts first, right? So maybe you have a $450 payment every month on a credit card, I don't know, and then like $120 on a student loan, and you have a car loan that is $250, okay, and then you're looking at $182 left. So let's just say we wanted to put that into an emergency fund just to clear this, and you're going to see it's going to go to 0 and going to turn green. So the whole point of creating a budget is to kind of plan ahead for the month if possible. So if we're making $6,000, what we want to do is we want to spend $6,000, and no, that doesn't mean all on Amazon or whatever. It just means we want to have $6,000 come in and $6,000 have a plan. We want to have every single one of those dollars have a plan. So as you can see, like we have, how much is this here? $820 in debt payments. We have $182 in savings that we would like to do, right? And then when you start going through the month and you start, adding in all of the actuals, okay? So if I just go through here very quickly and just sort of make up some numbers, right? So pretending that we're making all these payments throughout the month is happening, this is going great. Okay, we're listing stuff out. I am just making up numbers here. I'm talking. Here we go, shopping. Okay, so how did we do with that? So we had a budget of $1,700, and we only spent $1,655 in our variable. So it's like, oh, okay, we actually shaved off a little extra dollars there too, on top of like the new budget that we already had. So now what we can do is we have $1,045 left over. So first, let's make our minimum payments of our debts first, right? And then we'll reach the savings goal of this random 182.66, right, to make a tie. And then okay, we have $40 left, so we would put $40 towards the financial goal. The numbers here probably aren't going to align to you. I just made up some numbers on the spot here, but it's just a good exercise to think about. And then what you would do is every single month is a new opportunity to just improve the process. So if you feel like you failed in the first month that you did it, I would say you didn't not fail because you actually did the thing. And taking action is way more important than succeeding, especially in the beginning. If we never did anything that we failed at in the beginning, like just thinking about it, like as you know, I have two kids, right? So if kids ever, thought they were like failures for trying to crawl the first time or get up or walk or write or draw, it's like we would never be functioning humans. We would just be like baby blobs, right? We would never grow and adapt. So it is very possible to, and important, I would say, to learn from failures or missed opportunities or things like that and just kind of bring it into the next month. We're not going to dwell on it. We're just going to like try to improve the next month. And what I want you to do is think about your finances maybe once a week or whatever. And I think that's really important. And that's why I have a lot of accountability calls and things like that inside of Dollar Discipline University, which again, the link is down below. So I do have some calls on the calendar here. And what's exciting is I'm going to be adding more calls. So if we have every other week we have these calls where it's like accountability. It's like study halls for adults. So every other Friday we have an hour block where people can just join the call and they work on stuff, maybe in their personal finances, like their budget. I don't know, paying a bill, just looking at their finances from a higher up view, trying to have a strategy for the next couple months. I just think these are things that people neglect. Once a month, we have a group where we just talk about money. Anyone can join. It's just a general conversation, and we talk about things that we're maybe struggling with, things that we're winning with, and just people in the community just get to talk to each other, which is very fun. And I'm going to, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, talk about how to reset your budget in 2 days. We have going to be doing a weekly challenge for new and existing members. As you can see, it's not even on the calendar yet. I will be starting it at some point in September. So normally what I would do inside the community is I have people join and then I, offer them a free strategy call. I think those might be going away in order to do this properly because I take a lot of strategy calls personally. So I think what I want to do is just get all of those new members every week into that week's challenge, the 2-day challenge. So how it's going to work is probably something like, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, where I kind of go over the framework on Tuesday. It's going to just be a 30-minute call. And then essentially the individual, so hopefully you, would have like 48 hours to go through the tedious part of actually going back and looking at all their finances. I have an idea where I'm going to be creating a different Excel spreadsheet because this is pretty clunky. There's no good way to like add transactions in here. So I'm going to add a better way to add transactions and then just have the whole file flow over. It's going to be very simple for everyone. But yeah, let me know down below if you guys are vibing with this. I should also just say this community is for people who are looking to just kind of gain more confidence with their personal finances. Yes, there have been some awesome wins in here, like monetary wins where people have found hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, reshifted their mindset around how important their money is. Like there are people that went through the 3-month look back And then really on their own, I mean, they give me credit, which is silly, but on their own, they're like, you know what, I need to like, I have an opportunity where I can maybe work more. And that alone is going to help me pay off what I need to pay off with debt, or just have more cash flow, so my bank account isn't so low, or build up my emergency fund, right? So it's like, I think this process just really gets people thinking about how do I get creative with what I'm doing here, because what I've done isn't working. So if that's you, I think this could be a great opportunity to join the community. And as you can see here, there's 199 people on the same journey as you, and it's just people chatting it up in here. So yeah, if that interests you guys, obviously the link's down below. I went on longer than I was hoping to, not hoping to, but thought I would, but that's okay because I think it's important. I'm probably going to be talking about this concept and these challenges a lot coming up, because I do want people to join them. So I am doing these daily. These videos are going to be daily. So if you're still watching this, thank you so much. Smash the like button, and I will see you tomorrow.